fun begins.
How's it going?
Hello.
Well,
Greetings, young Jedi.
hello there.
What's up, everyone? Hybrid Toy Reviews here, and today we are taking a look at the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron TIE Bomber. So, interesting tidbit about the last year of this line. Series 4 came and went and never really showed up at retail, so the TIE Bomber became rather desirable and accrued quite a good secondary market value, to the point that they decided to reissue this as a Armada edition, which is where maybe they'll tweak the paint and upgrade it, but generally it's just putting a vehicle back in the line. And so the Armada edition of this came out, I believe it was in Series 10, which is already a series ago now. But this vehicle, I guess there were two listings on Amazon. One of them was listed for $12, on sale, a couple weeks ago. And I was like, oh man, I never got a TIE Bomber to begin with. And I ordered two, and the Series 4 one showed up. So I guess the Armada really tanked the value of that original one, or the original ones just finally showed up. I don't know where they ended up getting to. But, so anyway, it's the Series 4 version, but it is the TIE Bomber. It is a very minimal screen presence TIE fighter from the original trilogy. We see these guys bombing the asteroid field that Han Solo is hiding the Millennium Falcon in The Empire Strikes Back. I believe that to be their only on-screen appearance, at least as far as the films go. I don't recall them popping up in Rebels. They have definitely appeared many a times in video games since then. So there are ways, that you probably have an attachment to this vehicle. Odds are it's just not through any kind of film. So that said, let's crack her open. Let's take a look at this and see if this is a worthy addition to your fleet. Alright, here's our TIE Bomber in the packaging. We'll take a quick look at that. This is your standard Micro Galaxy Squadron packaging, being a card with a ginormous bubble on it. You got your Series 4 in yellow over there, Star Wars logo, a space battle going on behind the vehicle. You've got your TIE Pilot in a separate bubble in there. A little card that implies that it goes in the ship. Micro Galaxy Squadron TIE Bomber. You got a Star Wars logo, barcode and legal stuff. Around back is a hologram of the ship, shows some of the features of it, and a cutout trading card that, if you care, you can do. I don't know anyone that does, but that's fine. You have the other commons in the wave. I never got the N1 either. I really should. And then there was chases for, I believe, both Wedge, I think that's Wedge, and then Biggs's X-Wings there. I found a Wedge X-Wing once, and the card was just beat up, and I keep my chases on the card if I can. So I ended up picking that up for Blitz Transmission. So if you ever saw him do a video on that, courtesy of me. But anywho, that's what the packaging looks like. Let's open them up and see what's going on here. So here's the TIE Bomber out of the packaging. Let's take a quick look at the included figure first. This, once more, is the Series 4 version, so the Armada edition might be slightly cleaner painted. However, I don't think this one's bad. This is very recognizable as a TIE fighter pilot, even at this 1-inch height. You see the impression of Imperial cogs on the temple areas of the helmet. They generally get the point across, however, it's such a finely detailed symbol. It's like, how would you get that perfect at this scale? Got some silver buttons going on the chest and on the belt buckle. Very standard stuff here. He has the articulation to put him in a seated pose, and this vehicle is flown from the left if you're looking at it, right if you're driving it pod, and you see there's a double seat in there. So now you're going to get a rant from HS Wares. I hate how Micro Galaxy Squadron gives you vehicles that require multiple pilots and only give you one. So is this bomber just not dropping bombs? Why is it out of the hangar then? I need a second pilot in this. I think I accept that this line is about the vehicles, and the figures in this case are more like an accessory, but that's kind of like Black Series giving me a Jango Fett with only one pistol, well, at least he's got something going on. No, he dual wields. No, I need I demand a second TIE Fighter pilot. It makes me mad that it's not here. And so, anyways, if you had a second pilot, you could put him at that very detailed control panel. I'm sure he is a bomb dropper. And then there is another really cool feature on this where you can open the compartment over here and just see all the bombs in their loadout there, even some in the roof. That's really, really cool. There is technically a little peephole. You can technically see through to the inside, but of course with the door closed it is dark and you would never know what's going on in there. The bombs drop out of this port down here, so they kind of work like a traditional bomber. You know, they fly over and then the bombs fall out. You know, interesting, people only talk about bombs falling in space not making sense in The Last Jedi, but Empire Strikes Back is an old movie, so it's good that they fall in that movie. But it doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter that, you know, it's over an asteroid that's generating, you know, potential gravity, even though it's like over a planet, you know, that's potentially drawing gravity in Last Jedi. But Last Jedi bad for reasons, because I just don't like not old movies. So, but yeah, I don't know. Star Wars fans are dumb. But looking at the vehicle, it has all the standard things you would come to expect from a TIE fighter. The wings are very TIE Advance looking. I will not commit to them being the same piece from the Darth Vader TIE fighter, because I do not own that yet. But it wouldn't shock me if there was potential reuse there, because they are a very similar design, and panel work on the inside and outside, very clean. A bunch of pistons going on near the inside of the wings. It is sent in the package completely assembled. However, like most of the other TIE fighters, you can pop the wings off. Maybe, you know, you got some kids that are playing with this. Boom, oh no, we've been shot down. You know, you can take the wing off. Pops back on very easily as well. Around back, you've got some red paint indicating the twin ion engines on each side here. And, you know, it's a very interesting ship, you know, as far as the TIE fighters go. It's meant to be slower because, you know, it's dropping bombs. It's not like actually doing like dogfights or anything, but it's a very cool vehicle, and it's one that, again, the movies don't make it super iconic, but like I've played a lot of video games that feature it, so I'm kind of like, yeah, that's cool. I need to take a look at it. So anyway, it is one that I am happy has made it to Micro Galaxy Squadron and has been Armada'd at this point. So even though, while this is not the Armada edition, it made this original release easier to get a hold of, and you know, people can get it in the fleet, because I do think that it should generally be in your fleet. Here's a TIE Bomber next to a plethora of other TIE Fighters that we have gotten in the line. Most of these I feel like I've reviewed. I guess it's not a TIE Fighter in the back, that's a troop transport, but it's an Imperial vehicle, point made. So, yeah, ultimately, it just goes to show that it would look good in a Imperial hangar type setup. It will definitely look good in the Imperial hangar cube from Cube Squadron. Check out that episode of Talking Toys with the Boys where we interview Cassidy and hear all about his awesome Kickstarter. I am so excited to see those start coming to fruition over this year. But yeah, it's a very, very cool thing coming, and this is going to be a cool thing to have in it. So definitely got to up my Micro Galaxy game this year in anticipation for those. So end of the day, what do I think of the TIE Bomber? I love it. You know, it is a blink and you miss it in the grand scheme of things version of a TIE fighter. However, Jazzwares did a great job and really brought it to life in the line and did just awesome work on all the sculpting, and it looks the part. Again, infuriating that it does not come with enough figures. I mean, the troop carriers not coming with troops to carry is damning enough, but then, you know, like not filling the cockpit. Come on, the whole thing about these is they fly. Like, give me the people that make the thing fly. So it's very, very frustrating. However, the ship itself is a very nice ship, and I do like how it turned out. So if you don't have a TIE Bomber in your collection yet, I do recommend that you pick one up, whether it be the Series 4 or the Armada, whatever you can get a hold of. It seems Amazon is putting sales on these Series 4 ones here and there, because I've seen a pop-up here and there about it since, and I don't think it looks bad. I don't know what the Armada could have upgraded on upon this, just beyond maybe, you know, I know they've improved the deco on the figures over the years, so maybe they've like improved the Imperial cogs on the pilot helmet, which you don't have enough pilots of anyway, so that would be frustrating. If I were at Jazzwares, I'd be like, oh shit, we didn't put enough pilots in this thing, and then the Armada would have come with a second pilot. But, you know, I'm a man for the people, not a man for the corporation, I suppose. So anyway, I think it's a good pickup for the fleet, so I recommend you go pick it up. Thanks for watching my video. I appreciate you hanging out here. May the Force be with you. We'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye.